Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a warm-up story about a petty revenge at work with delicious justice at the end. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Get angry and play the victim? Okay. Backstory. My grandparents owned a stationery store that I grew up working in, and when it closed down in 2012, we auctioned off all of our stock. The couple that bought most of it also offered me a job, which I took. They're great people, but it's the least organized workplace I've ever seen. Little by little, I've been gutting and resetting sections of the store, changes that go largely ignored, but hey, it gives me something to do. Anyway, my latest project was to consolidate and organize all the envelopes. If you've ever worked in a place that sells greeting cards, you know envelopes get pretty much everywhere. There were stacks and piles and tote boxes of them everywhere. Last time we had a really slow day, about 2 months ago, I went around and collected all of the envelopes, literally thousands of them. I put them all neatly into 2 unused stock drawers. Then I kind of forgot about it for a while. In that time, this one worker, let's call her Emma, found my stash and started using it because, well, it's hella convenient. I've been told that once upon a time, Emma was a quite fastidious worker. But sometime before I started, she decided she was done cleaning up after everyone, which apparently included herself. She works opening and I work close, and without fail, every time I come in, I need to spend upwards of half an hour cleaning up after her. Piles of boxes tossed in the back room that I need to take the garbage out of and flatten, bills shoved into the register haphazardly, notes for me to do tasks she could have done in less time it took to write said note, and so on. Did I mention that Emma had several boxes of envelopes that were marked Emma's Do Not Touch? And those were the only envelopes in the store I didn't move? Yeah, she abandoned those when she found my stash. So the other day, it's slow enough for me to get back to my project. First step was to separate the envelopes by company to be sorted by size and color. So I pull out all the envelopes, pick out the ones from a certain company, and toss the rest back in the drawers haphazardly. That's about as far as I get, so I leave it like that during my days off. I come back to find this note. Whoever made a mess of the envelope drawer, please fix it. So tired of cleaning up after everyone. Thanks, Emma. Of course, how rude of me to work on my own project that I never said you could use in the first place. Maybe if I didn't spend an hour cleaning up after you that shift, I would have had more time to clean up after myself. So anyway, I improvised a new step in my project, packing all the cards in that drawer into tote boxes and hiding them in the back room. A completely empty drawer is a clean one, right? And our second story. The time Karen almost shot me point blank at the gun range. When I was taking my concealed carry course at my local range after turning 21, it finally came time to go and qualify. The class is a joke. The range requirement is a joke as well. 7 out of 10 shots with a human silhouette at 21 feet. A blind person could qualify. And given that there were 5 lanes and 15 shooters, there were 3 groups of 5. I've been shooting all my life, and knowing I would easily pass voluntarily, went to the back of the line to let the people who didn't have a clue what they were doing get the attention and supervision from the RSOs they needed very badly. I even helped out a very nice older man clear a jam or two. But when I was up next, Karen, who fired from the hip using some cheap Taurus revolver her son probably got her, aiming only with a laser, crap you not, arms and hands at belt level, couldn't work up the finger strength to fire double action and turned around calling for the teacher to help her, but lo and behold, the gun turned with her, and now there's a .38 pointed straight at me 5 feet away, indoor range, with a person behind it not knowing what they're doing. So I acted on impulse and dove sideways, full bore out of the way, but she got startled and flinched, and what do you know, there's suddenly a brand new hole in the wall right where my heart was about half a second earlier. I scream, "Cease fire," loud enough for the next zip code to hear me, and even though the RSO is making a beeline towards her, I get up, seeing red, and beat them to it. I grab this revolver, unload it, and throw it downrange so hard it could have dented the concrete floor. And I'm a very nice guy, but because of what's happened, I start yelling. I screamed everything from, "What did you not understand about keep it pointed down range to keep your finger off the GD mother effing trigger?" for a good 2 minutes. Adrenaline is a hell of a thing to be on, I guess. Then the RSO proceeds to tell me to go talk to the owner of the range, small operation, and they'll be right up to talk with me. So now I'm in the office watching the CCTV footage with the owner, and not 5 minutes later, Karen storms into the office, pissed as hell, and I crap you not, the gist of her complaint was that I had no reason to be mad and yell at her because I didn't work at the range, and that was solely the RSO's job, not mine, and everyone else's to promote safety when you see the need to. She had the audacity to tell me and the owner that it was my fault for startling her by moving my butt out of the way of a loaded gun pointed right at me as fast as I could, and that even though her finger was obviously on the trigger, that she wasn't going to shoot me because I don't make mistakes like that easily. Newsflash, Karen, a half a second later, you shot a hole in the wall where I was standing a half a second earlier. Shut the hell up. She was also demanding that I pay her at least $1,000 to replace the pistol, a $350 Taurus. I chucked down range because I likely broke it. Good, she shouldn't have one anyway. Trust me, and if it's broke, that's one less crappy Taurus out there. The owner wasn't even mad. He was impressed at how stupid and reckless Karen was and simply said calmly, "You're extremely lucky he was able to yell at you. You're extremely lucky that you were getting yelled at by him instead of being talked to by a judge in about a month. You need to leave here and never come back. It's best for everyone." Karen sticks to her guns, and the cops eventually come and escort her off the property, and I ended up getting a hell of a show watching Karen and the owner, and then the cops go to war with each other for a good 30 minutes. The range comped me a dozen mags with the full auto rental MP5 and 2,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39 for my troubles, because they know I love my AKs. So a bit of a silver lining. But seriously, F you, Karen. Who else has to put up with Karens at ranges, much less clueless ones who don't know what they're doing? And for those on this sub that don't know, a well-meaning person with a gun that doesn't know what they're doing can be just as, if not more dangerous, than an evil-meaning person with a gun that knows exactly what they're doing. It never ceases to amaze me how careless people are with what's the deadliest personal weapon you can own. And our next story. Woman spilled gas everywhere, wanted compensation. Gas station story. This happened a few months ago. Just as I was finishing up with another customer, a woman walked in looking agitated. "Woman, there's a problem with your pump. The gas wouldn't stop pumping. It got all over my clothes and my car." Okay, now that could be a serious problem, so I asked her exactly what happened. She says, "I was sitting in my car when someone got my attention. The pump didn't automatically shut off and gas was spilling out of my car. This has never happened before." Okay, so she wasn't paying attention. It's much more likely that the problem was with her car and not our gas pump. Regardless, I apologized to her. She wasn't angry or combative, yet, just panicky. So sorry about that. Here, we have a sink over here that you can use to wash your hands, and we have some rags to wipe off your car. Unfortunately, we don't have any real way to get gasoline out of clothing. So what, am I supposed to just go home like this? Sorry, but I'm afraid we can't help with your clothing. She paused for a moment, and when she spoke again, her tone had changed. Now she was more aggressive. "You know, there's quite a lot of gas that's spilled. Can I get reimbursed for the gas that didn't go in my car?" I sigh, knowing that she's not going to like what she hears next. "Ma'am, we have warning labels on every pump that say not to abandon your vehicle while it's fueling. It's the law." "I was right there. I was right there in the driver's seat." "The warning label says that you need to remain outside your vehicle." "Can I speak to a manager?" "I'm the assistant manager, and I'm the only one here right now." "Well, you know what? I'm never coming back here again. And I'm going to tell all my friends that this is the worst gas station in town and they should never come here." She stormed out, still mumbling about how terrible we are. For the record, there wasn't a problem with our pump's automatic shutoff. Later, my manager told me that I should have responded to her reimbursement request by asking if she could put all the gas she spilled back into our fuel fills. And our last story. Forget about the house. I, 30-year-old male, have a sister, Lori, 26-year-old female, through my dad, 52-year-old male. When Lori was 3, her mom packed up her stuff, took Lori, and left my dad a note saying that she wanted a divorce. Lori's mom always hated how much my mom and dad still got along and refused to cut down visitation after having my sister. Lori's mom also reconnected with an ex-boyfriend and tried to deny my dad access to Lori. Soon after the divorce, Lori's mom got pregnant with twins and her affair partner bolted. Lori's mom tried to claim my dad as their father, which my dad said was physically impossible, but still insisted on a DNA. Lori is his, but the boys are not. Fast forward to when Lori's 16 and our dad owns a house, and during her week with Dad, she asked if her mom and brothers can temporarily move in as her mom lost her job and can't stay in their apartment much longer. Dad refused and told Lori that if her mom is having that much trouble, then she needs to make other arrangements. Lori said that her mom's family was in another state and that if our dad didn't let her mom and brothers move in, they'd have to go to another state and that she would go with them. Our dad said that Lori was old enough to decide which parents she lived with and that if she would rather live with her mom full-time, he would support it. Lori was upset and said that if he loved her, he would help the people she loves. Dad said that he did love her but would not allow my ex and other kids to live off of him. About a month later, Lori used her key to let her mom and siblings in while Dad was out of town, and when he called the authorities, arrived Lori's mom claimed squatters' rights. Turns out Lori's mom had changed her address for a phone bill and bank statements to Dad's address for the past 2 months, and Lori would come over and collect them before he had a chance to see them. Dad was pissed and started legal eviction, but during the proceedings, one of the twins accidentally set the house on fire. Lori has apologized for her actions, but our dad was done and no longer desired overnight visits as he didn't trust her anymore and used her college fund as a down payment for a new house. It's been 10 years, and while Lori and my dad still talk, he still has his guard up with her. Last year, there was a health scare, and it was revealed that Dad's leaving his new house to me while Lori gets a few items. Lori and her mom don't think it's fair, especially since her fund was used to help pay for the house and want me to sign a document agreeing to split ownership of the house 50-50. I refuse for a number of reasons, but our grandma thinks that it would be the kind thing to do. Edit. More details. We're Americans living in the USA. Yes, my dad had homeowners insurance, but they were dragging their feet in the payout. Eventually got the money, though. My dad and I like to do fireworks for New Year's and 4th of July, so we had some in the garage and the twins got a hold of it, weren't properly supervised, and that's how the fire started. My dad's still alive. As stated before, there was a health scare because of the pandemic, and he wanted to get his affairs in order just in case, but he's fine now. Edit 2. Just to be clear on a few things about my grandma, she loves both Lori and me and means well. While my grandma thinks that signing the 50-50 split agreement would be the right thing to do, she isn't hounding me about it. She's only mentioned it twice and won't state her opinion unless asked, as she still respects the fact that everyone is an adult. My grandma doesn't own a house or have much in assets to will to anyone, and my dad gives her money regularly for luxuries. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.